Hi, I'm Nicola Cairncross.
Hi, hello, hey, hi.
I'm going to talk to you about success.
Hi, it's Nicola here, and I'm coming to you today from not so sunny Shoreham By Sea, although I did have my sunglasses on just in case. It was lovely this morning. So I haven't been able to find any nice sunny backdrops for you, but I have brought you to St Mary de Hora Church, which is where I've recorded some other videos in the past, just to show you really what a beautiful old building it is. It's quite tricky to record here though, because people are walking past me, walking dogs, people are sitting on all the benches around the church. There seems to be, for a graveyard, a very busy place in the heart of Shoreham. So forgive any background noises. So this week I've been struggling a bit because the sun hasn't been out very much and I'm finding it's affecting my mood rather badly. So I'm having to practice the old mind control a la bug-free mind rather fiercely on myself. I think I've come out the other side now. It was a bit of a shock to the system to get back and it be grey and rainy and horrid and built up. But it's been absolutely wonderful to spend some time with Phoebe and Nelson, and it's Phoebe's birthday tomorrow, so she's 22, very grown up, and so I'm out also buying her a few little bits and pieces because her main present hasn't arrived yet, as is the way of ordering things online. So we're all going to a Asian stroke Japanese restaurant tomorrow night, the main family, and then she's going to have a second birthday with her dad and Joe and their kids, and then she's having a third birthday out with her mates on Friday night. That'll be a messy one, that's for sure. So she's best get all her editing done before then. I know that she'll be editing this, so she will see this message. Okay, so what I want to talk to you today is something I've noticed with all the new people coming into my membership site, having bought the Be Everywhere online course. The one thing that people need to know is how to get started. So what I've had to do is create a watch this first and read this next, and a little section for new members. And I was thinking about how best to help people, how best to know what people are thinking, to know how they're making progress with the course. And I've been doing quite a lot of research on how to make courses very, very good for the participant, because if they're good for the participant, they will recommend them and they will also tell all their friends about them. And one of the things is that a lot of people need to be guided through course content, but not just guided, they need to be encouraged to become accountable. Now, whether that's become accountable to the person running the course or whether it's become accountable to themselves. And that got me thinking about how I keep myself accountable to my goals and my long-term objectives. And one of the ways I do it, and it's a really simple success tool, is to just write myself a little note at the end of each week. What have I achieved this week? What's been a challenge? What have I learnt and what needs to change? And that's all quite positive language. So you'll see I'm not beating myself up about everything. So I'm encouraging my members in my membership site now to write me a little note on a Friday afternoon or a Monday, whichever it is, as long as it's the same day every week. And I think that's a really good way of them letting me know what they've done, letting themselves know if they've not done anything, letting themselves think about what they want to achieve in the following week or weeks, and I can keep a track of how they're feeling, what they're thinking, and what the actions they're going to take. And this is the way that I can stop them going down the wrong path and stop them wasting money and stop them wasting time. Because I've been there for the last 20 odd years plus, 22 actually, because Phoebe's 22 and I've been online as long as she's been around. So that's the way I'm going to encourage them to let me know what their next steps are and if they're going on the right rails. So if you're watching this at home and you're thinking, how can I keep myself accountable? How can I keep myself moving forward? How can I make sure I'm on the right track? How can I make sure I'm not falling behind or missing my goals? That is a really good way. I had a really brilliant employer once called Benny Gray, and he used to say to me, you know, you can do anything you like during the week as long as you're around within sort of 40 minutes notice if I want to come down and have a meeting. He said, but one thing you mustn't do is go home home on a Friday without writing me a little roundup of what you've done this week to achieve our goals and what you found challenging. He said, actually, if you've got something challenging, just pipe up straight away. But that was a good discipline for me, just recapping what I'd achieved during the week, what I wanted to get done next week, what was a challenge, and how I was planning to overcome those challenges. On the podcast this week, we've been talking about people, performance and chickens. Judith and I had a bit of a discussion in the What's Fueled Your Fire section, where she talked about how the reason she loves coaching people, business coaching people, is because it's endlessly fascinating and it always changes. Even though some of the issues that come up are recurring, the way those people come about those issues or deal with those issues is endlessly fascinating and endlessly different. And we got into a conversation then about how to get the best out of your team and how to get the best out of yourself, in fact. So there's a recurring theme in this week's Vzine here, and there's a couple of great books that I recommended. One is a book called Great Boss, Dead Boss, which is quite hard to find but really well worth the read. It starts off a little bit weird, but after about the first 2 or 3 pages you'll be gripped, and it's a story format. I think telling stories is the best way for people to learn, and the second best way for people to learn is to learn knowing you're going to have to teach someone else. So that's another thing to remember. If you can, even if you're going to have to explain it to your daughter or your son or your spouse or your business partner, then it will help you learn because you know you're going to have to explain it to them later. It's the same with me, with my clients. Even though the internet marketing premise of taking a product or service and selling it online is exactly the same as selling it offline, just the tools are different, it's endlessly fascinating to me. New people come into the membership site and they've got different businesses, they've got different backgrounds, they've got different hang-up, they've got different expectations, they've got different strengths and skills. That's a very, very big part of it. So I love to work with people around their internet businesses just because of the fact that it's different every single time. And last week's Vzine was taken from my ex-husband's dining table, and that's why I decided I had to get out and about this week, because it looked rather dull, I have to say. But Phoebe spiced it up, and hopefully she'll be able to do the same this week with some fantastic drone shots of Shoreham. See you next week. What's on the blog this week? I can't remember. Here we go. Let's vary the background a bit, shall we? Now people are looking at me like I'm bonkers, but I'm just going to have to ignore that and press on. Right, not the best angle either, is it really? For chins and things. Never mind, I'm going to go with it. I've got mascara on, so that makes up for the chins, hopefully. So what I want to talk to you today... Oh my god, what is that noise?